Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I work from home, which is just a single car garage, so I haven't got much room, as you can see. I can't even get in the garage, but this is where we've got up to. I've just painted this one roughly. This is the first one. As you can see, not all the pegs are in and it doesn't drop apart. I've probably got too many lugs and too many pegs, but it works well. I've just used some broom handle as temporary legs. If you want legs, I'll supply 2x2 timber, so you can just screw them through these holes. But as it is, it's come out nicely. Now this, so I haven't put entrances on, but what I have done, if you would like them, I do this. I get the spinner and I put the landing boards on the spinner in the queen excluder position and the normal open position, like that. Now I haven't drilled this one because we're not sure, what floor that you're going to run. Now, for the first few people that buy the hive at the special rate, it's the special rate is on the basis that you give me feedback so that we can iron out any problems that may occur. I'm going to do a production run this week. Now, as it's a hobby, and I do it for the enjoyment and for the bees only, I'm not doing it as a commercial thing. I just want to get as many of these out as possible so people can have the long hive experience. But this is how it works out. As you can see, there's measurements everywhere here. This is so that we can get all the drawings corrected and everything. Now, on the ones we're supplying, this strip here will be wider, and the reason for that is, at the moment it takes an ordinary National Super, but it just does not take this Polynuke Super Top. So what we're doing is, rather than people having to cut this down to fit, we're moving that wall and the front wall forward so that will just drop in. Then people with the poly equipment can use it on the hive. The other thing will be, of course, because we're coming out with this panel here will protrude a little bit more, and we will make the roof bigger so that so that everything's right. Now, this strip lip here, you really need, when you get it, the first thing to do is put the lid on in the right position, drop it on, mark round the edge so you've got no paint on the inside of where the bees are. And to treat the inside, get some wax, pure wax in a tin, and wax inside. I haven't done this one because this is obviously my trial and modify, but you get the gas struts. They're 150 kilonewton gas struts, so once you get to that, and it also stops it blowing down on your head. We are also going to drill, because this here is the outside of the hive. We're going to drill a couple of holes here, and that is so you can put pegs in so you can hang your hive. You can hang the first frame you take out on the roof. They will just be marked. They won't be drilled. They will just be marked with a 3mm point drill in the two positions to hang that, and then you can then drill them and put the size peg you want. If you want a long peg to take more hives, but you will need to drill it at a slight angle uphill, so that the frame doesn't drop off, but they want to be about 3 inches long, and then they'll drop down in front of this panel. Then using door draft excluder, I've left this to 1 millimetre off round so that you can put some cheap draft excluder around there if you want to seal it completely. Now, there's been some issues, people saying that we need a vent in the bottom. I'm not stopping anybody put vents in, but vents cause the bees to cool down. And everybody knows that if the bees are 1/2 degree to 1 degree hotter inside the hive, then the varroa mite doesn't mature before the drone is born. So in that respect, it cuts down varroa. We find that on the insulated hives, especially when you put, I've bought insulation. This insulation is to pack the boxes so that the hive isn't damaged, but if you cut the insulation so it fits, cut the insulation so it fits in between your legs and slides up under this panel here, that insulation there will do to keep them warm. Now, by drilling if you want vents, you will need to drill and put wire mesh over them, but I just don't believe in that. I don't believe in open mesh floors because they're always cool and the varroa increases, and that's my personal experience. Now the hinges come, unfortunately the only place I can get these good hinges, they come bare metal, and that means that you will need to, this is the hinge, it comes bare metal, but just paint it as soon as you get the hive, open the box, then paint those so that the next day you can assemble it. But I would suggest that you paint this drip lip, you paint it before you start assembling, because it's important, because that will take the water away. It's important that it's got, as you can see here, there's places where I haven't got fully the paint in the groove, but that is important for longevity of the ply. So yes, that's that. Now then, the floor sits there. Now that is a Zest, Bill Summers' Zest frame. It's 3 supers deep and takes 3 super foundations. Now he uses that in his hive. Now at the moment I've got the floor sitting on top of the sump. Now if I take the floor out, you can see the sump. Now, as I've said, I will provide the Correx board as a packing for the roof, so that will come in this kit, and then when you use it with the Bill Summers frame, the sump is just the right height. I have sawn the lugs off, but we're suggesting we leave the lugs on, and I'll put a landing strip all the way round. Now the new hives will have holes drilled in 3 positions, so that the floor is the right height. So when you put the floor in, I'm having to do all this with one hand. You put the floor in, it just nicely drops as the air comes out. Now that means you've now got 3 inches of insulation underneath, air insulation. If you want to fill that with an old blanket or whatever you want to do to increase the warmth in the hive, by all means. I will supply 2 porter escapes, and it's up to you whether you put them in the face of the hive or the side of the hive. But lots of people have different position, wishes to where they have their porter escape, and it also allows an air change inside the box. If you want to increase airflow through the top of the box, then by all means cut a hole and put wire mesh over it. But I always have them shut, and the hive entrance is where the bees vent it. So that's just to explain that. I'll just put this one back together quickly and show you that. So when you get a 14 by 12 frame, there will be a hole. There'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marks for you to put shelf supports in. I will supply, I'm going down to the local hardware shop and see if I can buy some big packs of plastic shelf supports, plastic or metal, and then I'll supply them, and then there will be marks, there'll be little like marks like that telling you where to drill the hole. There will be a 3mm drill about 3mm deep, and then you can drill the form if you want. Once you've decided your position, drill the hole, put the shelf support in, and then the floor will be at the right level if you don't want a symbiotic sump. Now, if you're using the sump and the floor's out, you don't want it any higher. You want, the bees will build that to that shape. They will build this down here and then out underneath. People say they fill it. Yes, of course they fill it, but that's, if they want the room, let them have the room. That's my belief. Okay, and then if you just want standard standard brood, then that's okay. I mean, the bees would still do the same. They will still build underneath, but you can bring the floor up to where the positions of the pegs are, and then that's for you to decide. And then you can there will also be a small ledge on the hives I'm providing for the first few people. There will be a small step up here so that has more, so the frame doesn't rock. It has more support for the total width. Right, so that's all my 14 by 12s in. And then I can show you how this, the other trick I do is I just put 2 inches of 2 inches of foundation in the top of each. I did a lot yesterday, and I just put 2 inches, a 2-inch strip of foundation in the top. I take that piece out, turn it round so it's the other way round, clamp the 2 inches and put 3 nails in. Put 3 nails in here, so you've got 2 inches of foundation. The bees will then build the rest up. So then if you want nice bee comb to eat, you just cut a piece out and drop it into a Tupperware box and then put the frame back in. Then the bees will just fill that piece again with honey. If you want a super on top, I will supply 2 top bars, 2 of these pieces of plywood, cut so that little lip is out for 3 inches in the middle. Then you put your super, you align your super so that the 2 of the frames are over the gap in the slot, and then put your crown board on, which you should have from your nationals, and then yeah, job's good. Okay, if there's any other queries, please let me know, but we're ready to go into production this week for the first 5. I'm doing 5, and those 5 I hope the people will give me feedback. Okay.